You've had some pretty good success. I know the other week you dropped in Ajay's inner circle. You got 6 PAs that week. That was pretty crazy. Um, Not many people are getting 6 contracts in a week. Like, were any of those like bigger deals, or they're all smaller deals? Like, walk me through like what happened that week. That was so awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both. I mean, we've grown to, we have 4 active salespeople, and I even still kind of do a lot of sales for our company. So we have a lot of people, pounding the phones and shooting out text messages. I definitely think we got a couple. I don't remember the exact week. That might have been last week. I'm sure we got a couple big deals in there. But we also sprinkle in some double closes that we'll buy for 14,000 and throw it on the market for 25,000 and make 4K spread. Like, that's true, a very small portion of our business, but we're suckers, man. Like, if we see some margin in there, we're gonna go for it and rip them. So
that's awesome. And you said you have multiple closers. So you're closing. You have a acquisition manager. Who's all closing these deals?
Yeah, so me and my brother are pretty much at the top of the business, and he's the double close king, man. Like, he just locks up so many double closes in our business. Me personally, like, I do a lot more just normal buys and and just quick flips and stuff. And then we have 2 other acquisition managers that have been on our team now for probably about 6 months, give or take.
Okay.
So
nice. That's awesome. You guys are killing it. Are you seeing like an average spread between these deals you guys have been doing lately, or is it everything just everywhere?
What was the second part of the question?
Like, are you seeing there's a certain like price point, like all your deals are like 15 to 20K rips or 10K to 15 rips, or are they like all over the place, like 100K rips, 5K rips? Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, gross, we're definitely probably between 15 to 20. I think about 18,000.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings it down with some of the smaller ones we do. I mean, we do got a good amount of volume. Outside of the funding company, I've probably sold over 50, 60 this year. I'd have to look exactly the number.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, so we do a good amount of volume.
That's awesome. And are you doing texting? I know that. Are you just doing texting? Are you doing cold call, or what are you marketing channels for those?
Predominantly texting and cold calling. We've done a little PPC in the past, and PPC it's good, but there's a lot of challenges that come with it too. Like, you deal with a lot of fraudulent sellers and stuff, and you realize how much time that you waste on it. And depending on the service you use, you almost pay more for the service than you do the actual leads themselves. So you're paying, like, let's say your cost per lead is like $40. So you're paying another $40 for the service as well. So they cut into your fee. But that I mean, every marketing channel we've done is profitable. Like, I've never done a marketing channel that we've been to at least 2.5 X on ROAS. But it just really depends as to what you like. I mean, we like text messaging the most, but that's all of them.
Yeah, my business partner tried PPC for, I think it was like 1 month, and it was just horrible because we didn't know what we were doing, obviously, and we didn't have a setter, and so there was no speed to lead, and it was brutal. And then we spent like $4,000. Like, obviously we didn't get a deal because we didn't have our systems in place for that. But you like texting over cold calling?
Yeah, we definitely like texting over cold calling. You get so many opportunities to hit so many sellers in a quick time frame. I mean, we were pretty stuck at like 125,000 texts for probably about six months. Then we tried to take a jump to 190,000, and that was probably the worst thing we did in our business, just because we had too much leads and not enough people to handle the leads. And to anybody just getting started or kind of trying to get off the ground, like, I would suggest to like optimize the lead flow that you have now, because when you're texting too many people, like, you're looking at deals from probably not the right perspective, because you're going through the leads so quickly. Like, you're trying to catch up, and like, you're not looking at it like, could this be a subdivide play? Like, could this be a double close play? Like, are there different strategies that I could use on it? And if you're just rushing through your leads, like, you're just be burning money.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, you got to be don't scale too quickly, but like, make the best use of the leads for sure. I'm curious, what's your daily routine, like, as a business owner? Like, I guess just leave it at that. Like, what's your normal routine look like?
Yeah. So first thing, I get up in the morning, try to get to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, give or take.
Nice.
Then I kind of go through all of our hot messages that we have on our lead system.
Hmm.
So go through, kind of the big leads and stuff like that. Check Slack, see what our guy. I always ask the guys in our like acquisition manager, like, what's your guys' top 5 leads? They put those in there pretty regularly. So I'm like making sure that we're not dropping the ball, stuff like that. And then around 10 o'clock, I'm going through like all of our deals that have been submitted to our funding company. So we're probably getting about 3 to 4 deals submitted. Honestly, per day at this point. Like we're getting a lot of deals submitted per week.
Wow.
Truthfully, you still get a lot of junk deals and stuff. That like I'd really say we probably buy about 5 to 6 per month.
Okay.
So if you look at the conversion on that, it's not overly crazy because there's a lot of junk deals that go into that.
Hmm.
And then kind of the second half of the day, we have meetings with our acquisition managers. So that takes up a couple hours per each specific day. I've been trying to allocate time to like doing like a lot of Loom videos and just delegating a bunch of different tasks, whether it's pulling leads and scrubbing data, and most of that stuff is kind of optimized at this point. And then just talking to brokers, talking to once twice a week I go through like our active like properties, like kind of like a project. I would say I'm still the project manager on all of our stuff. So just kind of going through and updating the listings and seeing what we can change, like changing around photos and stuff like that. And then I'm the one who raises capital for our company, and talking to investors and stuff on a regular basis as well.
Nice. That's awesome. And so you obviously you have a funding company. You're funding people's deals. How are you getting those leads? Are they just know you from like Discords or like groups you're in? How are you promoting that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I started off, like I was really just like discording everybody from the guru groups, and I picked up a lot of business that way. And then people kind of just started sending me referrals. I'd say most of my business at this point is kind of on a referral basis. Anybody who does have a deal, I pay out $500 for referral fees, and that's kind of gotten me pretty far. I think our first year, we literally just passed our first year. I think we did about 50 deals. That kind of breaks down for a month. Recently we've definitely picked up. We're kind of doing more towards 5, 6, but that was our first year in business. And we've delivered on every single one of our deals for our investors, for our managing partners, I guess you'd say. And it's been an awesome journey as well. So
That's really cool. That's awesome. When you mentioned you had meetings for your acquisitions and all that, are you just like role playing, like going over what they could be doing better, or what do those calls look like?
Yeah, so every Friday morning, my computer's about to die. We do something. We break down like a scorecard. So we have how many calls the team made per week, and it's great. Like we use it's basically just Go High Level. My buddy's got a white label company, so I support his company.
Yeah.
So Go High Level, like you have all the call recordings on there. Tells you exactly how many calls you've made, like your talk time. So like there's no sugarcoating. Like the data is there. And recently I've been doing like $50 coffee gift cards and stuff to our sales guys, like who, it's more so just a competition, like $50. I'm sure they don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
But it's more so just like creating internal competition within the team. And we get competitive, and like everyone's like, bring it on this week and stuff like that. And
That's awesome.
So we do that, and then we do go over the calls that morning. And then, being part of the inner circle, we'll submit the calls on, Monday and then Wednesday with you now as well. So
that's sweet. I like that you do that little bonus. I think a lot of business owners can learn from that. I've talked to a couple other people, and like not many people offer, even if it's like $20, right? Like just to have something as like dangle that carrot in front of them. I think they work way harder. Like we've done that a couple times, and we've seen like our appointment setters is who we'll do it for. They'll work so much harder. Like almost every single time I do it, no matter if it's like my dispo manager or my closer that we unfortunately let go, or my setters, like they always hit their KPIs every time we do some kind of bonus. doesn't matter the price. Like they just love it. So that's really cool.
Is most of that are most of those team members overseas?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. They, what we realize is, the overseas people, obviously this goes without saying, but just how you treat them really goes a long way. Like just kind of giving them, bonuses and incentives when you can. And like these people are humans, right? Like they're just like us. Like they deserve to have like paid days off and stuff like that. And we do that stuff. And like, currently they're going through like a, I don't know if you realize this, like some of them are going through like a massive typhoon, like one of the biggest typhoons currently. I don't know the name of it and everything, but we've given them like paid days off, like helping them be with their family. Like that stuff goes a long way. And I've recently realized like our overseas retention for the last 8-9 months has been stagnant. Before we would lose a lot of people. And I think, that was me looking myself in the mirror, realizing I could be a better owner and giving these people incentives and how we treat them and stuff. Because like,
yeah, I know a lot of people, they forget they're human.
Yeah.
Just they're over on a computer screen. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, treat them like humans and they'll be great. Back to you. Is there any kind of trend that you think that other business owners are sleeping on right now?
Other business owners, specifically in the land business, right?
In land, yeah.
I think the first thing is like just kind of what I'm hearing from other people in the industry, the opportunities to do double closes. Like I think a lot of people, I don't know everybody's business, but it's definitely the days of buying deals at like 54, and I'm not about 50, but like 40 to 45 cents on the dollar are fewer and far between. Like it's definitely a lot harder to get those deals. But if you're buying deals at 75 cents on the dollar, like, you could still make, really good spread. Okay. You're buying something for 70,000, listing it for 100,000. Like there's still an opportunity to make 15,000 in there. So don't walk away from those. We really haven't, our team hasn't gotten into the curative title and distressed property business, but I know a lot of people that are getting into that business as well. Truthfully, I actually think, I don't know what you've realized, I see this more so from a funding perspective. Like a lot of people have gotten out of the business. I feel as if like, when I had started the funding company about a year ago, half, if not more than half the people that I was in contact with completely dropped off and are not in the business. We've actually recently seen an uptick in our acquisitions because I think people are kind of getting out of the business. And I think the sharper operators are kind of going towards the top, the people who are taking it extremely seriously and who've been in the business for a couple of years, like you and I have. And I think the people who are, not necessarily just I don't know. I think a lot of people have fallen off in the business. And I think it's a really good time to get into the business or, continue to grow the business.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that. I was going to ask if you think there's more competition now or less. And I see the exact same thing. But it's cool because you see it from obviously a completely different lens than I do. But just, talking with sellers, because right now I'm actually on the phones and closing deals for my team. There's not many like competition. Like most of I feel like last year they're talking to 2 other land investors at the same time.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm the only person they're talking to. Like no one else is going to steal this deal from me. At least the odds are super low. So you think about like half of the people have fallen off of like how many people were spending deals from you? Like half?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the the full data, but I'm not gonna show you the exact people, but like I have like all of my phones like land investors, and I'll text them like once a month, like any deals, anything new in the pipeline, and like a lot of them will text me back like, "Hey man, appreciate you reaching out." Like out of the business, like not doing it anymore. Like we've transitioned into houses, like we're doing wholesaling. Like so I've seen a lot of that, and like at that point, it's interesting to see.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What do you think the biggest risk is in our business over the next year?
The biggest risk. I guess that question is kind of a loaded question, right?
Super loaded.
So it's like there's risk for different people, right? Like I think the risk for somebody like just starting out is the fact that they're competing with teams who've been around for 3-4 years, like you and I, and they have multiple people, like they have a full system on how they're doing, how they're doing things, and they have really good processes, and they're getting called every single day. And I think that from that perspective, like it's harder for somebody that's just starting off. It's a one person business to compete. Like I've heard of, people like Sumner Healy talk about like the land, I don't know the way he phrased it, like the land investing method 2.0 or whatever he calls it, and like how people are, doing this business with teams. Like I think that is kind of a risk. And then from sophisticated operators, there's a couple of risks. I think the first thing is obviously your cost basis still needs to be taken into consideration, because what happens if we do go into some type of recession and prices drop 20%? Like people could be sitting on inventory for longer than they had anticipated. So diversifying the way you utilize your capital and funding resources, I think is smart as well, because we've been in the business, where we're just allocating 100% cash, and it's great, but then your cash is just sitting there forever, know? So those are things to think about as well.
Interesting. Kind of switching over a little bit. Do you guys have a dispo manager, or who's managing all these deals in your own business and your funding business?
Yeah, so we have a transaction coordinator. It's actually my fiance who does it.
Oh, nice.
Which is great. So she's just like on the emails and just making sure that we're getting everything from start to finish, and staying up to date on like our due diligence. We have like due diligence trackers for every project. We have a VA who works alongside her on that. And then we don't do too much. I mean, we do stuff on the disposition side. Like we have stuff listed on Facebook, but I'd really say it's only about 25% of our business. Most of everything we do is with brokers.
Gotcha. Do you have any KPIs that you track for like the managing realtors, or any of that stuff, or is you kind of just, you hand it off to them and then they send you an offer and you sign it?
Yeah, it's a good question. We don't necessarily have a KP. So a couple things with realtors that I do. I never sign a 12-month agreement with a brand new realtor, just because like I've had realtors who don't even respond to you after like 6 days. It's like, you have our property. Like it's crazy that you don't even respond. We've actually had agents that get upset with us about this. We reach out to them every single Monday, any updates on the property, or so every other Monday. So if we did it like when we used to do it every Monday, and then we had agents feel like we were micromanaging them a little bit too much. So we kind of stopped doing that. But we reach out to them every other Monday and just kind of check in about how things are going. And I think that works because like these realtors are just like us. Like I'm sure you and I have both dropped the ball on a lead, or taken longer to get back to them than we'd like to. And the realtors are probably the same. Like they got a lot of shit going on. They probably got 50 listings. Like they forgot about a call on Friday morning. Oh shoot, I did get a call about his listing. I got to call him back. So I think like by like kind of staying on top of them, it refreshes their memory about stuff going on too.
And we used to do weekly too. It totally ruined like the relationship with the brokers. Yeah, that's a good point. You do a 6-month listing agreement, I'm assuming?
We do. I'll do a year-month listing agreement with somebody I've worked with. Like they've had really good success with us. And, I guess it's not really a KPI, but most of our realtors, we pay 6%. But there are times where I'll pay a broker 8 to 10% if they're a great broker. There's one person in specific. He's probably sold 25 to 30 deals for me. I paid him 10% every single time. And he and even if it's like $100,000 listing, I've still paid him 10% because he's saved me from so many bad deals as well. And like just his value, like the guy's been in the business for 30 years. Like he knows everybody in the area. Like he sells these lots. Like I gotta imagine like last year, my average days on market were 78 days for all the properties we sold. This year it's higher. I know that it's higher. Just because like the market was a little bit slower, but he's probably something. His average days on market with him is probably about 2 months, which I'd say is really good.
That's super good.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have a main state that you work in, or are you nationwide? Or
we're pretty much nationwide. I'll tell you the main we work in and the main I fund is the Midwest and the Southeast.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we are too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have any KPIs you track on the acquisition side, or is it just like the typical, dials, offers made, contracts sent, contracts signed.
Yeah, those are kind of the main ones that we do. So
Yeah.
dials made, leads pushed, talk time, contracts sent, contracts signed. I mean, it's, I could probably break it down on like a calls per contract basis, but I think that kind of tells the story itself. Like the more calls you're making, the more contracts that you send. The thing too, like that I realized, like, I like to still stay on the phones because I like to kind of lead from the front. So we've had challenges where, like I said, my brother and I are involved, and we show that we're putting out 20 offers that week or 25 offers that week, and like it kind of fires the guys up. It's like we're obviously I don't tell everyone when I'm making this business, but like we're doing really well because this is what we do, right? This is how many calls we make. This is like the input that we put into the business, and like this is what it takes to be successful in this business. So like, having those challenges and stuff have been good for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, you guys are absolutely crushing it. It's awesome. How are you avoiding shiny object syndrome? Like you mentioned, people are getting messy title, like people are getting on the wholesaling houses, people are doing entitlements. Like, how do you enjoy like the boredom of like doing the same thing every day? Because I feel like no one can do that.
Yeah, it is pretty mundane. The only time I like to like add on to something is if it's within the realm of the business of what we're doing. So I haven't done anything different in a year. Like the funding company I started a year ago, but like the funding company is pretty much the exact same as what we do. Like I just see the deal, I sign off on it, and we bring the funds, whether it's my funds or our investors' funds at Northgate Land Capital. So that's a really easy process for me. But how do we avoid shiny object syndrome? It's a good question. I don't know. I think just staying focused on what we have and realizing that the business that we do have still works and it still produces. But to say that I haven't, entertained the ideas of messy title stuff and entitlements, like I'd be lying if I said that.
Yeah.
But we're staying focused. All I have to say, we're staying focused too.
That's awesome. I think beginners struggle with that so much. Like they'll be 6 months into the business, and then they'll see some like ad that someone ran, or they talk to someone and like, oh, I just did this huge deal in this different niche, and then they immediately like jump ships, and then they just spin their wheels.
Sure.
And a year will go by and they'll do like no deals, and when the more boring it is, like the more profitable you'll probably end up being, because you get way better at stuff that's like repeatable. There's nothing new. It's just the same stuff every single day.
Yeah.
That's what I've personally learned over like the last year, just not changing our business model at all. Is there any bottleneck in your business that keeps resurfacing that you haven't been able to figure out yet, or your system's pretty dialed?
Yeah, I think our system's pretty dialed. I mean, I always like to say, like, if there is ever a bottleneck, like it's myself. Like there are certain things that I could take myself out of always. And we've, over the last 6 months, like I've taken myself out of so many different things that up till about a year ago, we were answering the phone, the incoming calls coming into our, into our business, and like, delegating that to people. And like, we've pretty much delegated like most of our data scrubbing and stuff like that. But there's still certain things that I'll go through and pull specifically, and I probably could delegate some of those as well. But yeah, I don't think so at this point.
That's awesome. Where do you see yourself taking the business, like in the next year, next 2 years? Like, do you see like scaling it up, or like where do you think you're going to take it?
Yeah, I think we definitely want to get to multiple 7 figures in revenue coming into the company. From there, we are interested in some of the other strategies, but truthfully, like I definitely foresee at least the next 5+ years being in this business, and I think that things will change, and land investors will have to adapt. I mean, we're already adapting in different ways, whether it's systems and softwares, and the business has evolved a lot over the last 3 years that I've even been in the business. But yeah, I think we'll still be in the space pounding deals, however that looks.
Absolutely. Have you ever thought about like ever bringing on like a COO, like an operations guy, like that you just put in the business and then you find like the next business model? Like, have you ever thought about doing that in the next 5 years, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we have. I think I don't really have plans to get out of it anytime soon. I mean, I do have thoughts and even some things we're kind of working on in the back burner a little bit. But it's all within the realm of the land business, and that's kind of what I've realized. Like, you kind of said, like, how do you avoid shiny object syndrome? Like, I feel like somebody has got to have, like, number one, really good systems, and like you got to be making at least a couple $100,000 before you go to something else. Like, that doesn't make any sense if you haven't even been successful in the business that you're in. Or, once you have the systems down, like, then that's the point where you can kind of start looking into other things. Like, another, I don't know if you're not, I've seen you post about it. Like, you're out and traveling somewhere and the business is still running. Like, that's when that you have a business, right? Like, it doesn't just shut down when you move away from it.
I know. I've learned the hard way. Like, if you try to do multiple things at once, like, everything just comes crashing down. Like, we're trying to get to the point where I basically don't need to be in the business, and we're still a long ways from that. But
sure.
When we get there, now I'll consider doing something new. But like, until then, let's just do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking to you, Brandon. If people want you to fund their deals, how can they find you? Where should they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're a brand new investor, someone who's been in the business for a while, someone who has got a larger deal, we can fund up to $500,000. You can submit a deal on our company website at northgatelandcapital.com, or you could shoot me an email at info@northgatelandcapital.com. Anybody who doesn't currently need their deals funded or knows somebody that needs their deals funded, happy to pay out a $500 referral fee to anyone who brings over a deal to our company. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Well, keep crushing it. I'm excited to see where you guys go. I think with a lot of people that fell out, like, the gates are open for us. Us operators that have real teams. It's going to be a great 2026. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I think it's a little different than about a year and a half ago. I think everyone was jumping into the business, and I think it's the opposite right now. And it's a really good time to grow going into 2026.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here. Other than that, that's all I have for you.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate your time. Keep crushing it.
You have a good one. I'll see you.
All right. See you, dude.